What's a movie you love but if someone said they hated it you would completely understand why? Sky High. It's a silly tween movie with silly tween jokes, and I think it's funny. Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Tried to get my wife to watch it and she said it was so damn boring. Totally understandable because it's weird and pretty slow. But I love that movie. Waterworld. Wet Mad Max. Moist Max. Swiss Army Man. A truly beautiful film about friendship. But I understand how it's not to everyone's tastes. Fantastic Mr. Fox. Gloriously animated but some may find its stop-motion art direction and mature themes unnerving. Maybe it's a Wes Anderson thing. Isle of Dogs fits as well, with all the Japanese dialogue without subs. That shitty gun-fu Christian Bale movie called Equilibrium. It's like The Matrix set in a hybrid of the dystopias from 1984. Fahrenheit 451. And Brave New World. Plus Sean Bean reads William Butler Yeats poetry before doing what Sean Bean does best. It's the most ridiculously literate sci-fi Hollywood garbage and I fucking love it. Nkato, you uncultured swine. I freaking love this movie. The Swedish language Girl with a Dragon Tattoo trilogy. Very faithful adaptation, but the depiction of a main character's assault is brutally realistic. I love the series because it's a story of an abused person's growth and vengeance against their abusers. What We Do in the Shadows. I love it. It's one of my favorites and I love the show as well. But when I showed it to my family, they hated it. I know it's a stupid sight gag joke, but his face on the cat body always makes me laugh my guts out. I love that movie. Napoleon Dynamite. The kind of ennui-seeped setting this movie depicts is something that many were presumably privileged enough to never have experienced firsthand. But for those of us who have, the absurd kinds of strange personalities that develop in this environment are intimately familiar to us. And it is a movie that is both validating and hilarious. This is the most poignant descriptions of an absurdist comedy I've ever read. Edit. Oh, cool. My first award unlike. Third highest comment is me using a word wrong. Scott Pilgrim vs. The World. Probably not everyone's humor. Rewatched it last night and it never fails to keep me smiling. Knives. Is Scott here? Wallace. Actually. Window smashes. He just left. Thinking, I gotta pee. Who her? Out loud, I gotta pee on her. My favorite is he punched the highlights out of her hair. Love that movie. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. I've laughed at that movie harder than any other I can remember. But if I hadn't been a few beers in and with a group of friends that are a natural laugh track, I don't know if I'd have found it as funny. I still laugh heartily when I watch it, sober, about once a year, but I've found the state of mind, mood I watch things for the first time in has huge impact on how I view them on future occasions. Oh, Heidi-ho officer. We've had a doozy of a day. Quote, Kung Fu Hustle because it's Kung Fu Hustle. Kung Fu Hustle is a masterpiece and I don't give one shit what anyone says. Romy and Michelle's high school reunion. I think it's hilarious but some might find it too goofy I suppose. Who could hate this movie? Without Romy and Michelle we'd never have Post-its. We're business women. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Edit. Thank you for my first silver. This movie means a lot to me as it brings up memories of my childhood running around with friends, yelling, "Nee." Quote, I think Holy Grail is more accessible than Life of Brian or Meaning of Life. I'd understand if someone thinks any of them are not their style. But I'd understand most if they said they didn't enjoy watching a fat dude eat till he explodes. Or because they're fans of proper Latin grammar. Old Boy, Korean movie. It is little fucked up movie. So I understand if someone doesn't like that. It's more than little. Amazing movie. Hot Rod. Cool beans. To all the boys I loved before. It's flaming garbage but some part of my monkey brain says, yes. You like this. I watched it once a day for a week and broke up with an ex because I realized how poorly I was being treated. I'm a 27-year-old man. But damn it if I did not enjoy that movie completely. That Peter Kavinsky dude is charming as hell. It's so predictable and cheesy, but that's why it's good. I loved it because it just made me feel warm inside. Sometimes you just want to watch something that'll make you feel happy. Glad it made you realize you should have been treated better. Dogma. Asterisk. Beautiful, naked, big-titted women just don't fall out of the sky, you know. Asterisk. Grave of the Fireflies. Some people can't handle that level of sadness. This was going to be my answer. It's the best movie I will never watch again, despite owning it. Joe Dirt. It's a very dumb comedy, but I love that movie so much. You're gonna stand there, owning a fireworks stand, and tell me you don't have no whistling bungholes, no spleen splitters, whisker biscuits, honky lighters, Husker do's, Husker don'ts, cherry bombs, Nipsey daisers, with or without the scooter stick, or one single whistling kitty chaser. The number of times my friends and I have said, Husker do's, Husker don'ts, eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. This is a beauty of a movie and one of my all-time favorites. So much has been said of this movie. The writing, directing, acting by Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet. But can I just highlight Elijah Wood in this thing? His character might be the greatest romantic movie villain of all time. I'm not sure if that's a product of the writing or the performance. Probably both. But man is it effective. I hate Patrick so much it hurts when I rewatch it. This is so true. I rewatched it the other day and Patrick's motive to win over Clementine has to be the most fucked up thing you can think of. I know the whole memory swap is fictional, but just imagine the emotional damage that would result from something like that if that really happened. Crazy shit. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Bogus Journey. I understand it's not everyone's cup of tea. Be excellent to each other. Cool Runnings. I love the Caribbean and for a while it was the only VHS in the house of a movie set somewhere. War Monsieur. How could anyone not love Cool Runnings? It's hilarious, heartwarming, inspiring, and heartbreaking. One of my favorite movies ever. You Wanna Kiss My Lucky Egg? Sanka, ya dead? Ya man. Who's the best boxcar racer on the entire island? Enthusiastically. Me. So are you going to do it? Enthusiastically. No. Who do you see? I see a bad mother who won't take nothing from no one. I see a badass mother who won't take no crap off of nobody. Quote. Napoleon Dynamite. Apparently Napoleon Dynamite breaks Netflix's recommendation algorithm because it's impossible to predict whether or not a person will like it based on what else they like. I've never seen it, but that's a fun fact about it I learned on a Fun Facts podcast. Edit. The podcast is no such thing as a fish. Apparently I break Netflix's recommendation algorithm because they've never recommended a thing to me that I would want to see. It used to be better before they got rid of the 5-star system. Now it just pesters you with Netflix originals and 90% of them are made for a different demographic than you. Do the chickens have large talons? Not sure why, but this is one of my favorite quotes. There are so many amazing one-liners in this movie. My favorite is still, "Your mom goes to college." Midsommar. I watched this movie with my boyfriend a few weeks ago and it's the only movie I've ever seen that had me saying, wow, what an aesthetically pleasing movie with such an interesting plot. I hate it. There were so many parts of that movie that made me squirm because I was so uncomfortable. All in all, I think it was really well done and it had me completely captivated the entire time. But I'll never watch it again. Ari Aster must have had some major trauma in his life. His ability to capture such realistic emotional responses is just unnerving. There is a part in Midsommar, near the beginning, where she is sobbing on her boyfriend's lap. She is crying so hard that she starts to develop a cough. I've never seen it depicted in a film before. And for me it made it seem all the more real. Beyond Midsommar, I believe Toni Collette deserved an Oscar for Hereditary. The amount of agony she displayed made me so incredibly uncomfortable that once I reminded myself it was a movie, I was just in awe of how real it felt. I'd like to take this time to gush about the hallucinogenic effects towards the end of the movie. That shit was awesome and I can't wait to see more from the director. Besides that, the movie did feel like 40 minutes too long, but it was still enjoyable. The Naked Gun movies. So many great and underrated moments. Like a midget at a urinal. I was going to have to stay on my toes. Like a blind man at an orgy, I'd have to feel my way in. Who are you? How did you get in here? I'm a locksmith. And I'm a locksmith. That was Police Squad, not Naked Gun, no? Oh, you might be right. If I recall correctly it was Naked Gun 2.5. But I could definitely be wrong. Either way, is this some kind of bust? Quote, well it's very impressive, yes. But we would like to ask you a few questions. Niece Beaver. Quote, thanks. I just had it stuffed. Little kid me had no clue about that double entendre. The Star Wars prequels. Yeah, the dialogue is stupid almost all the time. But the theme and general plot of Anakin's turn to the dark side because of the failings of the Jedi is actually really great. They're fun to watch. Plus all the memes. I would go even further and say all Star Wars movies. I like them and find them very entertaining. However, I can totally see how some people have zero interest in it and just see it as over-the-top action. Noise with weird dialogue. Donnie Darko. Sometimes I doubt their commitment to sparkle motion. My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Note that I'm a 36-year-old guy. Was in the military and now work as a machinist. It's a cheesy movie but I find it very sweet. Hook. Wonderful movie but it is quite childish. That's what I enjoy about it but I can see how others wouldn't like it. Rufio. It is a PG movie based on an old fairy tale starring Robin Williams. It would be weird if it wasn't childish. Starship Troopers. Actually no, I'm good if someone's not a Starship Troopers fan. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I love the movie but totally understand if someone said it's terrible. It's a stoner movie and a mere one at that. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Mother, motherfuck. Mother, motherfuck, fuck. I guess you had to grow up with Spaceballs to get a kick out of all the quotables. Or maybe you're just surrounded by assholes. Event Horizon. It's cheesy but I love it. It's fine if people don't like it. Fuck this shit. Kung Pao. I'd understand if someone doesn't like this movie. They were trained wrong, as a joke. Weo. Space Yamasir. It is my #1 guilty pleasure movie but goddamn is it terrible when you look at it critically. Yeah, like, WTF is Marvin the Martian even doing out there? He's gotta be the worst ref in the history of basketball. He's neutral ground. He's a Looney Tune, but he's an alien like the Monstars. Asterisk Fifth Element. Asterisk Equilibrium. Asterisk Chronicles of Riddick. I mean, I understand them if they choose to hate these movies. But they're asterisk wrong. Asterisk. The Lobster. Very good flick but a very slow burn. Not just a slow burn. There's off-putting dialogue and some pretty visceral violence including animal cruelty. It is a great movie but I'm not sure when I'd be able to watch it again. Signs. I can look past or make excuses for that water is the weakness deal. I like the ominous tone with some dark humor. The focus on one family instead of other alien movies. It was the first scary movie I ever watched all the way through. I was 5, because let's be real, those first shots of the aliens are terrifying. But yeah, it's a typical M. Night Shyamalan ding-dong movie so I get it. The roof scene, the grass field scene, and the news showing the capture footage. I still think about those scenes. The butterfly effect, because this movie is fucking depressing. A Knight's Tale. I scrolled through this whole post looking for it and no one said it. I personally love it but it really is a terrible movie. I honestly love the first two Twilight movies and put them on all the time. I use them when I'm studying, working because they're relatively calm without a lot of loud noises. And the color scheme is inoffensive in the background. I had to chuckle a bit just because of how you described the movie. It is so bland that the film basically becomes a white noise machine with no jarring colors or sounds to distract. I understand the appeal of the films, but fuck me, looking back on them, I've seen more life in graveyards. I love the woodsy scenery in those movies. And I generally love any movie or TV show where the main characters live in a beautiful house mansion. The plot and story are decent, too. I just try not to think too much about the romance part and the cheesy lines. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.